Omo, Peter Obi running mate, Senator Baba-Ahmed. That man no dey fear anybody. He no dey fear anybody. If you see the way you take talk him own truth about this past presidential election, Omo, if they call his speed, you know, consign whether he dey vex or you want carry DSS come carry. Oh boy, this guy caught chain anyhow. Even tell us our vice president na irresponsible man. He say na very very irresponsible guy. Person wey he will no forward. Say now person will be say you not even supposed to enter that office at all as vice president of Nigeria. Talk more of in Oga Baba-Ahmed Tinubu. Say these two people, they are unconstitutional. Chineke me. Oh boy. First one Kiyamo, you will come out and say, hey, na treason, that way you talk the first one, say, may they no swear in Tinubu. You understand? Until all issues in court are decided. First Kiyamo come out, they talk, say, hey, na treason. Why you go talk, say, may they no swear in democratically elected president. Ungwa Asim don't talk this one now. Come and talk again. Hey! I beg, I no want talk too much. Make una help me listen to Senator Baba-Ahmed, running mate to Mr. Peter Obi, on what he talk about this government. You know, hear me? I beg. Me no bless you hear from my mouth. I'm gonna watch this video.
I feared for Tinubu himself, for himself, from himself. I feared for the reputation of Nigeria. You see, the international profile of global leaders has risen astronomically, to the extent that royals even discipline their own. Look at the profiles of gentlemen like Xi Jinping of China, all across the world. All of a sudden, we were faced with the dilemma of having to present to the world who our own president to be was. And I was one of those who knew that the answers were not good. The whole country would be put to shame. The last time I spoke, I nearly brought Tinubu's ambition to a screeching halt. This is evident by the events that followed immediately afterwards. One minister wrote the DSS on his company stationery. I don't know how that is possible. And another minister, skipped ECOWAS, skipped AU, and went all the way to Washington to report me. And Nobel laureate, a very, very senior citizen, inviting me to a national debate. And I'm not that smart enough, even though my dear good friend Chimamanda acted on my behalf. And then DSS coming out a week later, under duress, of course you could see, to do the bidding of that minister. This shows they were scared. My simple point was that no constitution or any part thereof shall be breached in order to install a president. And if that is done, that presidency will remain unconstitutional. And I remain on this point. I pointedly say he must not be sworn in. They have gone ahead to do it. It is not the first time. Out of 16 heads of state stroke presidents of Nigeria, 9 were not elected. 7 were, out of that 7, 1 still remains challenged, Alhaji Tinubu. Challenged. And that is because of the constitutional breach. Now, my attitude from day one was that, based on experiences, let's forget anything electoral. I know the system deeply. My boss, Obi, knows the system deeply. Let's go for the constitutional point. Yes, of course, there is that issue of the forfeiture. There is the forgery. But the clearest one we could get was on the FCT point. Now, get that FCT point. Get him not sworn in. There are at least 2 other constitutional channels while sustaining democracy that we could have followed, but they wouldn't. But the petition court and the Supreme Court, please quote me on this, did not actually affirm the success of Tinubu's presidency. They upheld the unconstitutionality of that election, and they are happy for it to remain so, and they have the power. Nobody can do anything about it. That is why we said it is an unreasonable show of force. If there was something we could do, we would stop it. But we are law-abiding citizens. That is why I'm here sitting with you today and still complaining. I was not shaken one bit. I will never be shaken by certificate forgery, by forfeited money over narcotics. I will never be shaken by IREV switched off in the middle of the game when they saw us winning. Labour Party won 2023 presidential elections. No doubt about it. They are cheats, they are bullies, and they have taken full advantage of the situation in Nigeria. When you ask me what is the situation in Nigeria, I will go ahead and tell you some fundamental things that say why we are in this situation today. Right. Can I go ahead?
For centuries, the Ijele has been a revered masquerade in Igboland, a predominant tribe in southern Nigeria. The Ijele is a grand spectacle that commands respect, awe, and celebration. Today, Innocent Vehicles brings you the Ijele in a new form. A majestic, robust, and monolithic pickup truck designed to leave an indelible mark in the annals of automotive history. The Innocent Ijele is equipped with a powerful 3.0L turbo engine and 4WD to conquer any terrain with ease. Make way for the Innocent Ijele, Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
This man has delivered nothing and is poised to deliver nothing. Well, they have not moved an inch Nigeria from consumption and waste to production, and they will not do it. They will not stop the killings and start the healing. Well, they will not stop the stealing and start the keeping. Ask this question. For someone that has been playing God, in quotes, for such a long time like Alhaji Tinubu, and it is time for a mortal, like maybe Obi, or somebody to put him in his right place. For someone who has wielded so much power in a country like Nigeria, where is that power in the last 6 months for them to apply in our welfare and our security? They cannot do it. They are in power for themselves, for their ego, for their wealth, for their comfort, for their own considerations, not for Nigeria. They attempted something on my safety, on my security, and I was able to find out 10 minutes to time. And God's so kind, I was able to avoid. They tried to get me into one of those yellow houses down the road, get people to come and arrest me there, and use that to rig the judgment. I became so inquisitive, and I dodged within 10 minutes, only for me to come and find out, based on strong suspicion, where it came from. And with what I see, then the strangulations in Lagos in the past, yes, they happened, and they were for a reason. The people gunned down in Borno State, it happened, and yes, it was for a reason. I think Peter Obi and myself have been lucky to have stood today to give that press conference. Back to Shetima, and I'll talk about Shetima.
Well, let me talk about something.
A very irresponsible gentleman.
Let me talk about something that is
Be he the vice president or whatever that he is, I'm telling you that he has conducted himself in so many ways in these 6 months that demean the office of vice president, and I'm not happy about it, especially the way he's been treating our elder, Atiku Abubakar. For God's sake, Atiku Abubakar is getting to 80. He is by no measure of imagination Shetima's mate. How can Shetima come out and say that the Kanuris crack jokes with Fulanis, therefore he's going to retire him to Dubai or Morocco? And these are very personal issues. What kind of an irresponsible statement is that to me?
Well, I am not privy to having said that. For him,
I am, and it is true.
And obviously, the vice president's
So all I'm saying is that leave Shoyinka out.
Yeah.
Bring who matters to me like Shetima. Bring Alhaji Tinubu. Look, even Tinubu, I have much respect for Tinubu. You heard Shawari criticizing me for me calling Tinubu uncle. I call him uncle. Why I said, you saw the picture that I went to greet him in the mosque, and they said that I went to plead. No, it's just respect. But the fact that I respect his age doesn't mean that I will not call him a drug dealer.
Yeah, well,
or a certificate forger.
Well, I don't think you should call him those things unless you have
That is why I said do not
evidence and
swear him in.
You don't hear him. I no get anything to add or minus. Don't be when DSS go call the 5%, they go say, hey, I follow talk. I know nothing I talk. I go say on later.